Okay, so let's wrap up the series of the video, and in this last video we'll be talking about moral reasoning, and we'll be just talking about two things. The first thing, what are the components of moral reasoning? That's the first thing we'll be talking about. Two, what are the components of moral lapses, when we make moral misjudgments, as it were. So the main components of moral reasoning are as follows. The first one is what we call moral sensitivity, and in this one we say this is your sensitivity to the existence of a moral dilemma. There are people who will be presented with an event or something, and they will not see any moral dilemma in it because they are not morally sensitive to an ethical issue in it. For example, there are those people that are used to bribing their way out of traffic offenses because they consider them to be petty or minor. In their head, they are not corrupt, they are not behaving unethically because they are not sensitive to the issue at hand. That's the first component, moral sensitivity. The second thing is moral judgment, and this is where you're basically processing information within a moral dilemma to arrive at a decision. Basically, simply put, the third thing is what you call moral choice, and this is where you have judged something to be right or wrong, acceptable or not acceptable, and you have made the choice, and this choice is what you believe to be the right thing to do. Now, the choice may differ from person to person, the judgment may differ from person to person, and sensitivity may differ from person to person. Now, the last thing is what you call moral character. A moral character comes from sustained and consistent way of making moral choices. If you are used to making decisions in a certain way, that's your moral character and that's your moral compass. So those are the four main components when you're thinking about moral reasoning. Now, when you're thinking about components of moral lapses, when do we make mistakes, or what are the components that need to be there for a person to make an ethical mistake? And this I will use this diagram, and this diagram is called the fraud triangle, and it tries to encapsulate all the issues that are likely to arise, or all the components that need to be there so that a moral mistake is made. You forgive me if I'm sounded a bit groggy, a bit tired. It's 3 a.m. Goodness, it's almost 4 a.m. I need to prepare for my meeting. So the first thing on this end we have is pressure. On top you have opportunity, and on this side you have rationalization. And what basically the fraud triangle tries to say is, for a person to be corrupt, for a person to make an ethical mistake, three things need to be there. The first thing is they must have the opportunity to commit the crime or the vice. For example, if I'm a public procurement act, I have my role as a procurement assistant or as a chief procurement officer. That is an opportunity. I have a chance to commit a crime or to commit a vice. The second thing that must be there is there must be pressure, and this pressure can be internal pressure or external pressure. Internal pressure is coming from things that are happening to you externally, and they are forcing you to change internally. For example, you might have a loan, you might have a sick relative, you might have foreclosures about to happen because of debt, And you must also have social pressure from friends who seem to be doing okay financially and you yourself are not okay. Now, under internal, the social pressure would be the best suited there. You're seeing your friends are making it, you're seeing your friends are just doing fine and perfect and even growing wherever they are, in yourself you feel like you're stagnating, as it were. External would be these things. Financially, you're not okay. You have a sick relative to take care of, and there are medical bills to cater for, and so forth and so forth. All these things are amounting to pressure, and this pressure plus opportunity is what creates the high probability of a vice happening. Therefore, if you were to cluster this as A, this as B, and this as C, we can say fraud or vice can be predicted by opportunity to commit the crime, that's the first thing, and internal pressure or external pressure. But it will not happen, this fraud or malfeasance will not happen until you have the third one, which is class C. The person must rationalize that behavior, because it is an opportunity to commit a crime or to commit a vice. They must be able to rationalize it. And what are the ways that people rationalize it? For example, one way would be everyone is doing it. That's one way. If I don't do it, someone else will do it. And another one can say things have always been this way. The fourth one, who am I to change the system? These four things here are rationalizations that allow you to commit the vice. So if you were to look at this whole fraud triangle, simply it would be this. You have the opportunity, you have the pressure both internally or externally, but you have to rationalize your decision to commit the vice. And you can rationalize it on many ways, and these are some of the ways that you can be able to do it. So it does not happen until A is there, B is there, and C is there. Now the moderators here would be things as religion, society, and expectations. All these things are things that we shall expand in the next class. So I hope the videos have been clear. I'll keep dropping them through the YouTube channel to your class rep so that we can continue covering the manual as we start on the case studies. In case there are any questions, again, you can send them through the email, or you can post a comment on this YouTube channel, or you can just send me an email at dchege.ac.ke, dchege@jquat.ac.ke. Now, for the compilation, once you're done viewing the videos, what we will do, I'll send you an online assessment. This is a very simple quiz, which again counts for your semester assessments, and it will just ask pertinent questions that have been covered across the 15 or so videos. Take your time to first of all go through the videos before answering the questions. Okay, that will be it for now. I think it's 3 a.m. Where I'm at. Oh, there, 3:30. So I'll communicate to the class rep whether the class will kick off based on the meeting. But if it doesn't, again, as I've said, I'll keep doing the videos till we meet for the next class. Thank you.